Maya Chen tapped her finger against the console, watching the endless streams of data flow across her screen. Another lonely night on Station Helios. It's the furthest human outpost in the Cygnus Arm. As the station's communications engineer, her job was to listen to the void in most days. The void had nothing to say. "Anything interesting out there tonight?" she asked aloud, knowing only the station's basic AI would respond. "Negative, Engineer Chen. Standard background radiation only." Maya sighed, brushing a strand of dark hair from her face. 5 years on this remote station had seemed like an adventure when she'd signed up, a chance to be part of humanity's push into the unknown. Now it felt like exile. She was about to call it a night when a faint anomaly appeared in the signal pattern. Maya leaned forward, eyes narrowing as she fine-tuned the reception. "That's not standard background radiation," she murmured, fingers flying across the interface. The pattern pulsed with an almost musical rhythm, too structured to be natural. "Computer, analyze signal composition. Unable to analyze. Pattern contains unknown elements." Maya's heart quickened. In the vastness of space, new discoveries were rare. Most signals either came from human sources or known cosmic phenomena. This was something else entirely. For hours, she tracked the signal, watching as it grew stronger, seemingly moving toward the station. Against protocol, Maya rerouted the main dish to focus exclusively on the transmission. If this was first contact, she didn't want to miss it. Just past midnight, station time, the signal peaked. Maya's quarters filled with a soft blue glow emanating from her personal terminal. She stepped back, watching in astonishment as the light coalesced, forming a swirling vortex in the center of her room. From the light stepped a figure tall and graceful, with skin that shimmered like the surface of an opal. His features were almost human, yet unmistakably alien, eyes too large and intense, cheekbones sharp as glass, movements too fluid to be natural. He wore what appeared to be living armor that pulsed with the same rhythm as the signal. "Maya Chen," he said, his voice resonant with harmonics that made her skin tingle. "I am Theron of the Nebulan Collective." Maya reached for the emergency alert button but hesitated. Station protocol demanded immediate reporting of any alien contact. But something in his expression stopped her, a vulnerability beneath the otherworldly appearance. "How do you know my name?" she asked, keeping her distance. "I have been searching for you," Theron replied, his form still partially translucent, as though not fully materialized. "Or rather, for someone with your specific resonance pattern. Your DNA calls across the void." "That's not possible," Maya said, though her scientific mind was already racing with possibilities. "Human DNA doesn't transmit signals." Theron moved toward her terminal, and the screen erupted with cascading data. "Not to human technology, but to mine, you shine like a beacon among the stars." He turned to her, his eyes reflecting the light of distant galaxies. "Maya Chen, my people are dying. I've traveled across 12 systems seeking the one whose genetic pattern completes our restoration sequence. And that's me." Maya laughed nervously. "I'm just a communications engineer." "You're far more," Theron said. "Tonight, do not sleep alone. Our connection has begun forming, and separation now would cause great pain to us both." Maya stepped back. "That's quite a line." "It is not a line. It is a warning." His expression softened. "I understand your fear. But time is short, and the signal that brought me here will soon alert others to your existence." "What others?" Maya asked, feeling the first flutter of genuine alarm. Theron looked toward the viewport, where stars gleamed like scattered diamonds. "Those who would use our bond for purposes far less benevolent than survival." Outside her window, a distant light flashed, not a star, but a ship dropping out of faster-than-light travel. Station sensors would detect it soon. "You need to make a choice, Maya Chen," Theron said quietly. "Before they arrive." Maya stared at the distant ship through the viewport, her mind racing. Every protocol she'd ever learned demanded she report Theron's presence immediately, but something deeper held her back. "Who are they?" she asked, nodding toward the approaching vessel. "Collectors," Theron replied, his voice tight. "They hunt remnants of ancient species like mine, harvesting our biological material for technology and weapons. The terminal beeped with an incoming station-wide alert. Unidentified vessel approaching. All personnel to monitoring stations. Maya made her decision. Computer, disable surveillance in my quarters. Maintenance Protocol 7. Surveillance disabled for 4 hours. The AI confirmed. That should buy us some time, Maya said, turning to Theron. I need to report to my station or they'll come looking for me. But you can stay here. We'll figure this out when I return. Theron reached for her hand. When their skin touched, a wave of sensation like electricity, but warmer. More alive coursed through Maya. Images flooded her mind. A crystal city suspended in the stars. A civilization of beings like Theron communing through pure energy. Then destruction as strange ships tore their world apart. What was that? She gasped, pulling away. The beginning of our bond, Theron said. When Nebulans connect with a compatible being, we share memories, emotions, ... everything. I saw your world, Maya whispered. It was beautiful, Theron agreed, sorrow evident in his otherworldly eyes. You should go. But remember, our connection has begun. Distance will weaken us both until it's complete. Maya hurried to the communications center, trying to appear normal despite the lingering sensation of Theron's touch. Chief Officer Ramsey was already coordinating the station's response to the mysterious ship. Chen, about time. We're receiving a transmission from the vessel. They're identifying as a scientific research ship, requesting emergency docking. Have they provided credentials? Maya asked, sliding into her station. Universal Trade Commission papers? Looks legitimate. Ramsey handed her a datapad. But something feels off. Run a deep scan on their communications array. Maya analyzed the incoming signal. She noticed something familiar. Harmonic patterns similar to Theron's transmission, but distorted, artificial. Her head began to throb, a dull pain building behind her eyes. You okay, Chen? You look pale, Ramsey observed. Just tired, she lied. The pain intensified as she continued working. By the time her shift ended 4 hours later, Maya could barely stand. Something was wrong. Theron had been right about the separation. She stumbled back to her quarters to find Theron weakened as well, his once luminescent skin now dull. When she entered, he looked up with evident relief. They're lying, Maya said without preamble. The ship. They're using a modified version of your communication technology, as Theron confirmed. They've adapted parts of fallen Nebulans to track others. Maya... The pain you're feeling will worsen unless we complete the connection. What does that entail exactly? She asked, sitting beside him on the edge of her bed, sharing of essence. For my people, it's as natural as breathing is to humans, but between different species, it's rare. His hand hovered near hers. It would create a permanent link between us. Maya hesitated. Will it hurt? No, Theron smiled his first. Quite the opposite. Their hands met, and this time Maya didn't pull away. The sensation was overwhelming warmth, spreading through her body as Theron's consciousness gently merged with hers. She saw more of his memories, centuries of wandering, searching for a solution to save his dying race. The loneliness of being the last of his kind, and he saw hers. Growing up in the crowded undercities of Earth, escaping to the stars, the isolation of Station Helios that mirrored his own solitude. When they separated, something had changed. Maya could sense Theron's presence in her mind like a soft light. The collectors will sense our bond now, Theron said. We don't have much time, as if on cue. Maya's terminal chimed with a message from security, Engineer Chen. Please report to Docking Bay 3 to assist with communications setup for our visitors. They're looking for you, Maya realized. And now they'll be looking for me too. Theron nodded grimly. We must decide our next move carefully. Outside, the collector's ship completed its docking sequence. Metal seals engaging with an ominous thud that seemed to echo through the station. Maya reported to Docking Bay 3, her mind still reeling from the connection with Theron. She could feel him at the edges of her consciousness. Comforting presence that somehow made her feel more complete than she ever had before. The visiting ship's crew consisted of 5 humanoids in sleek environmental suits. Their leader, who introduced himself as Director Vol, had an unnervingly penetrating gaze. Engineer Chen, he greeted her with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. I understand you're in charge of communications for this sector. That's correct, Maya replied, maintaining a professional demeanor despite her racing heart.
Oh, excellent.
We detected some unusual signal patterns in this region. Our research focuses on previously unknown forms of communication. He handed her a data crystal. Would you mind analyzing this comparative data? We believe it may correlate with what we observed. Maya accepted the crystal, recognizing it for what it was, a test. They were watching for her reaction. Of course. Though unusual signals are common in deep space, cosmic background radiation creates all sorts of patterns. Indeed, Vol agreed, studying her face. But some patterns indicate intelligence, particularly those from extinct civilizations. Back at her workstation, Maya inserted the crystal while appearing to analyze it. Through their bond, she sent a warning to Theron. They're searching for Nebulan signals. They suspect something. His response came as a gentle pulse of acknowledgement in her mind. When her shift ended, Maya returned to her quarters where Theron waited. Their bond had strengthened even during their brief separation. And when she entered, she felt an immediate sense of rightness. The collectors will stay for 3 days, she told him. They've requested access to our sensor array and historical data logs. They're thorough, Theron said. My people had dealings with their ancestors long ago. They've evolved, but their purpose remains the same: acquisition of power through any means necessary. Maya sat beside him on the small couch. Tell me more about your people, about the bond we share. Theron's expression softened. The Nebulans were once caretakers of dying stars. We learned to harness the energy of collapsing systems, preserving life where others saw only destruction. He took her hand. And images flowed between them, Nebulans dancing among stellar nurseries, guiding the birth and death of stars. It's beautiful, Maya whispered. The bond we share was meant to join different Nebulan families, combining diverse energy signatures to strengthen our collective, Theron explained. But when the collectors began hunting us, our numbers dwindled. Some of us discovered that rare individuals from other species carried compatible energy patterns. And I'm one of those individuals. The only one I've found in 3 centuries of searching, he said, his fingers intertwining with hers. When I detected your signal, I almost couldn't believe it. The intimacy of the moment drew them closer. Maya found herself fascinated by the subtle iridescence of his skin, the depth in his eyes that seemed to hold galaxies. Their connection hummed between them, physical attraction amplified by their psychic bond. When their lips met, sparks of light danced around them, the visible manifestation of their energies merging. The kiss deepened, tentative at first. Then, with growing passion, as they explored this new dimension of their bond, later lying in each other's arms, Maya traced the luminous patterns that appeared on Theron's skin wherever she touched. What happens now? She asked quietly. The bond will continue to strengthen, Theron said. Soon, we'll be able to share energy completely enough power to potentially revitalize my species' genetic archive. His expression grew serious. But the collectors will sense it. They've already detected our initial connection. A chime from her terminal interrupted them, a message from station security. Mandatory inspection of all quarters. 800 hours tomorrow. Collector representatives will accompany security personnel. They know, Maya said, sitting up abruptly. They must have detected our energy signature. Yes, Theron agreed. And they won't stop until they find us. Then we need to leave, Maya said, surprising herself with the certainty in her voice. There's a maintenance shuttle in Bay 7. It's basic. It has life support and enough fuel to reach the Teresian outpost. Theron studied her face. You would leave your world behind. For me? Maya thought about her life before Therantha loneliness. The sense of disconnection she'd always felt, even among other humans. Then she thought about the glimpses she'd seen of the universe through his eyes, the profound connection they now shared. I'm not leaving anything behind, she said softly. I'm moving forward. Outside her viewport, stars glittered against the void, no longer distant and cold, but filled with possibility. The station's night cycle provided cover as Maya and Mian made their way through the maintenance corridors toward Base 7. Maya had packed only essentials, some clothes, her personal datapad, and emergency rations. After 5 years on Station Helios, her life still fit into a single bag. Security override, Channel F7, she whispered at each checkpoint, using her engineer's access to bypass the locks. Through their bond, she could feel Theron's concern mixing with her own tension. They were 3 sections away from the shuttle bay when alarms began blaring throughout the station. Attention all personnel. Unauthorized energy signature detected in Section D. Security teams, deploy immediately. This is not a drill. They've detected us, Theron said, his skin pulsing with agitation. The bond's energy is growing stronger. Maya pulled him into a narrow utility closet as heavy footsteps thundered past. Through their connection, she projected calm despite her racing heart. We need a diversion, she whispered once the security team had passed. Reaching into her bag, Maya pulled out her datapad and quickly programmed a series of system fluctuations across the station's opposite wing. With a few commands, she sent the false alarms cascading through the environmental systems. That should keep them busy for a few minutes, she said, slipping the datapad back into her bag. Let's move. They emerged into the corridor and hurried toward Base 7, but as they rounded the final corner, they found Director Vol, waiting with 2 of his crew. Engineer Chen, he said, unsurprised, and the last Nebulan. How convenient to find you both. Maya stepped protectively in front of Theron. We're leaving the station. Stand aside, Vol laughed, the sound cold and mechanical. You misunderstand your position. The Nebulan's biological material is worth more than this entire station. As for you, a human compatible with Nebulan energy, the research potential is ... extraordinary. We are not research subjects, Theron said, his voice resonating with power that made the corridor lights flicker. Perhaps not willingly, Vol conceded, drawing a weapon that hummed with ominous energy. But willingness is optional. Maya felt a surge of protective rage course through her. Without conscious thought, she reached for Theron's hand, and their energies merged instantly. Light erupted between them, a shockwave of pure energy that knocked Vol and his companions backward. Run, Maya shouted, pulling Theron toward the shuttle bay door as the collectors struggled to their feet. Inside Bay 7, the maintenance shuttle sat untouched, a small, utilitarian craft designed for repairs to the station's exterior. Maya slammed her palm on the entry pad, and the shuttle's door hissed open. Can you fly this? Theron asked as they scrambled inside. Better than anyone else on this station, Maya replied, sliding into the pilot's seat and activating the launch sequence. Her fingers flew across the controls, bypassing the standard authorization protocols behind them. The bay door began to close as the station's automatic systems responded to the security breach. Maya gunned the engines, and the shuttle shot forward, barely clearing the massive doors as they slammed shut. They're launching pursuit craft, Theron warned, monitoring the sensors. 3 ships, heavily armed. Maya pushed the shuttle into a steep dive, skimming the station's surface to use its bulk as a shield. This shuttle has one advantage. It's small and maneuverable. Hold on. She navigated through the forest of communication arrays extending from the station's north quadrant, a maze of delicate equipment no reasonable pilot would attempt to traverse. Behind them, one of the pursuit ships misjudged the gap between 2 arrays and clipped its wing, sending it spinning into another vessel with a spectacular explosion.
Oh.
That leaves 1, Maya said grimly, pushing the shuttle's engines beyond their recommended limits. The remaining collector ship stayed with them, its superior speed gradually closing the distance. They're charging weapons, Theron reported, his voice steady despite the danger. Maya's mind raced. The shuttle had no defensive capabilities, and they couldn't outrun the collector ship for long. Then she spotted their salvation, a dense asteroid field at the edge of the system, notorious for its unpredictable gravitational eddies. I have an idea, she said, altering course toward the asteroids. It's risky. Theron met her eyes. I trust you. The shuttle plunged into the asteroid field, Maya weaving through the tumbling rocks with intuitive precision. The collector ship followed, firing whenever they had a clear shot. A blast grazed the shuttle's left thruster, sending them into a spin that Maya barely controlled. "We can't take another hit like that," she warned, eyeing the rapidly depleting shields. "Then perhaps we should stop hiding," Theron said, his hands beginning to glow with accumulated energy. "The bond is strong enough now. We can use it." Understanding his intent, Maya reached for his hand. Their energies combined instantly, flooding the shuttle's systems with power. The damaged thruster regenerated, shields strengthened, and the navigational computer began processing at impossible speeds as the collector ship closed for the kill. Maya and Theron channeled their shared energy into the shuttle's engines. The small craft surged forward with unexpected velocity, executing maneuvers that defied its design limitations. They looped around a massive asteroid, using its gravity to slingshot them deeper into the field, while setting up a collision course between their pursuer and a cluster of smaller rocks. The collector. The pilot realized the trap too late. Their ship clipped the first asteroid, spinning into the path of several others. A series of explosions lit up the darkness as their vessel disintegrated. "We did it," Maya breathed, watching the debris scatter across space. Theron squeezed her hand. "Where to now?" Maya programmed a course away from any known human settlements. "There's a system about 3 days from Haron, inhabited but habitable. No one will look for us there." As the shuttle cleared the asteroid field, the stars stretched before them like infinite possibilities. For the first time in her life, Maya felt truly free. 3 days in the cramped shuttle brought Maya and Theron closer, both physically and through their strengthening bond. They shared memories, dreams, and quiet moments, watching the stars drift past the viewports. Their destination gradually grew from a distant point of light to a vibrant blue-green planet orbiting a young yellow star. "It's beautiful," Maya said as they began their descent through swirling clouds. "The atmospheric composition is perfect for both of us." Theron stood behind her, his hands resting lightly on her shoulders. Through their connection, she felt his wonder at finding such a pristine world. "My people once nurtured planets like this, helping life evolve naturally without interference." They landed in a meadow surrounded by forests of tall silver-leaf trees. The air was fresh and sweet when Maya opened the shuttle door, filled with the scent of unfamiliar blossoms. A pair of bird-like creatures with iridescent wings circled curiously above before darting away. "We should scout the area," Maya suggested, grabbing her equipment bag. "Find water, assess potential threats." Theron stepped onto the planet's surface, his feet bare to better connect with the world's energy. "There are no sentient predators here," he said confidently. "But there is something else, something familiar." They followed a stream through the forest until it widened into a clear lake. At the center stood an island with structures of crystal and metal weathered by time, but unmistakably artificial. "Nebulan architecture," Theron whispered, his voice thick with emotion. This was an outpost, a sanctuary. They swam to the island, the cool water pleasant against Maya's skin. As they approached the structures, lights began to activate in response to Theron's presence. Systems dormant for centuries coming back to life. Inside the main building, they found a chamber dominated by a crystalline device shaped like a blooming flower. Theron circled it reverently, his fingers tracing symbols etched into its base. "A Genesis chamber," he explained, "used to store and revitalize genetic material. My people established sanctuaries like this throughout the galaxy, places where our civilization could be reborn if disaster struck." "Does it still work?" Maya asked. "It needs power more than I alone can provide." Theron turned to her, eyes luminous with hope. "But together, through our bond, ... That night, they prepared for the attempt. Under twin moons, they sat beside the lake. The Genesis chamber moved to the shore. Maya felt nervous anticipation through their bond, mixed with Theron's profound gratitude. "No matter what happens," he told her, taking her hands, "you've already given me more than I ever hoped to find. Connection, purpose, love." "Love," Maya repeated softly. The word felt right, encompassing the complex emotions that had grown between them. "Yes, That's what this is. Their kiss deepened, more intense than any before. The boundary between them blurred as their energies merged completely. Light emanated from their entwined forms, illuminating the night around them. Maya felt herself becoming something new, not just human, not nebulan, but a perfect synthesis of both. Together, they channeled their combined energy into the Genesis chamber. The crystal petals began to glow, unfurling further to reveal a core of swirling light. From deep within the device, dormant genetic material activated, combining with the energy pattern created by their bond. The chamber hummed with increasing power, projecting a holographic display of DNA strands nebulan sequences repairing themselves, adapting, evolving. Beside them, the lake began to shimmer as microscopic organisms responded to the energy, accelerating their natural evolution. Hours passed as they maintained the connection, their shared consciousness expanding to encompass the awakening systems around them. When dawn finally broke, they gently separated, exhausted but triumphant. In the Genesis chamber, 5 perfect spheres of light pulsed with new life, the beginnings of a new nebulan generation. Born from their bond and adapted to thrive in this world, it worked, Theron whispered, tears of luminescent energy trailing down his cheeks. You've helped me save my species.
Our
Species now, Maya corrected gently, feeling the change within herself. The bond had transformed her on a cellular level, making her partly nebulan, while Theron had become partly human. What happens next? They will mature slowly, Theron explained, gesturing to the spheres, learning from us, from this world. In time, there will be more. 6 months later, their sanctuary had become a home. They had built a dwelling near the lake, incorporating elements of both human and nebulan design. The young nebulans had emerged from their spheres, childlike beings of light and matter, who were rapidly absorbing knowledge from both their parents. Maya stood at the edge of the lake, watching Theron teach the children to manipulate energy, creating dancing patterns above the water's surface. Her hand rested on her abdomen, where new life grew, a child of both worlds, conceived through their perfect union. In the distance, the shuttle remained as a reminder of their journey, though they had no plans to leave. This world was theirs to nurture. This new beginning, a gift neither had expected to find when their paths crossed in the void of space. That night, as their children slept in cocoons of gentle light, Maya and Theron stood under the stars, their energies mingling in the familiar harmony they had come to cherish. Do you ever miss it? Theron asked. Your old life? Maya thought of Station Helios, of Earth, of the human civilization continuing without her. Sometimes I miss the idea of it, she admitted. But I was always searching for something I couldn't name. Now I know what it was. What? This she said simply, drawing him close. Belonging, purpose, love. Above them, a shooting star traced a brilliant path across the sky. Not an omen, but a promise. Whatever challenges the future might bring, they would face them together. Creators of a new legacy born from the most unlikely of meetings. In the heart of uncharted space, on a world with no name, they had found home.